So hello everybody, this is Sarah Estelle here, and today I'm very, very happy to welcome Michelle Nilson into a little call and sharing of how flower essences and vibrational medicine has made such a huge difference to her life. So welcome Michelle, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me.
Yeah, so let's start with the best bit. So tell everybody about you.
My name is Michelle Nilson, and I am a flower essence practitioner, and I am also the producer of Light Essence Elementals. I live in Ireland, and I really wanted to base a range here with the energies that are present with the elemental kingdom here. So I also work in a health shop, and I do consultations through my health shop as well. So I'm really working a lot with the energies that I kind of have been wanting to work with for a very long time now. So.
Yeah. So beautiful, beautiful. So all that's happened actually pretty quickly, hasn't it? Because when we
Yes.
first met, which we established was 2016, was when we first spoke. So at the date of this interview, it's like 3 years ago.
Yes.
Lots has happened, and lots of your dreams have started coming true.
Yes. Very, very, yeah, and through. Yes, so.
So let's just take ourselves back briefly to what life was like in 2016 and before. So when we first spoke, you were in a good place. You were starting a new life, but you weren't where you are now. So tell us a little bit about what life was like before, because actually you've been taking essences for a very, very long time. So actually, let's go back a little bit further. When did you first start taking essences?
I actually first started taking essences back in 2009, but I knew about them a long time before that. And I realize now that they were kind of winding their way into my life without me realizing it. And I kept thinking I was supposed to do the herbalism and, working with plants on a physical level. And I did take all those classes. I did the essential oils, I did the herbal classes, and then I ended up through many coincidental types of things, synchronistic events. I ended up working at Alaskan Essences with Steve Johnson and a lot of really, really great people. That immersed me in the world of essences fairly quickly. And I worked there for 3 years. And while I was there, it was amazing to work with the energies of all of those in the background. And a lot of my stuff came up while I was working there. and Steve would say, "Oh, well, that's just, look at what they're bottling over there." It's like, okay, that makes sense. So anyways, it was a real immersion in that world, and I realized this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do with my life, because it was on an energetic level, and I realized that when I was actually, throughout my life, all the way back to my grandfather, he used to speak to the plants, and he used to talk to them and, love them basically, and energetically speak to them. And I knew that as a young child, and I knew that's why his plants did so well. So I gained that knowledge from him without realizing that that's what I was doing, because I thought everybody did it. And learned later on in life, not everybody else, knows how to do that, or speak to the elemental kingdom, or, honor them. So basically, you know, going through and kind of energetically trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I hit that job. And when I hit that job, it was like, this is what I want to do with my life. This is how I want to help people. I want to make my own essences. But I didn't really know how to do that because I was feeling overwhelmed. So I got an energetic call to actually move to Ireland in 2012. And just before I left, Steve told me, you should be making your own essences. You should be working with the energies of Ireland. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. And he said, you should also become a practitioner. So that became my new dream. It took a little bit to get there because I hit some bumps in the road when I got here. And I had to move back to the US for a little bit, but then I was back. And when I came back, that's when everything solidified. And that was back in 2015. So
it's taken you a little while, but you've been in the world for a long time. And I think it's
yeah,
the theme of this kind of work that it has its own timing.
yes.
Absolutely its own timing, and how beautiful that you had that deep connection to Alaska and to Steve as well of the Alaskan Essences. It's very beautiful. So when we connected in 2016, it was the beginning of the professional part of your journey, wasn't it?
Yes, definitely.
And I remember when we spoke, it was an emotional time for you. I remember.
It very much was.
Can you describe to everybody what you can remember about that feeling of, this is it, I'm doing it?
Even now it makes me feel emotional. It was like I had made a commitment to myself, doing what I wanted to be doing in the world. So I remembered feeling that I was taking this huge step into remembering myself and allowing myself to be that in the world. Not that I hadn't done it to a certain degree, but this was actually bringing me to the place of my core essence of using the nature kingdom to help people. And I remember writing that in my journals many times. I want to work with nature. I want to work with nature. And I kept thinking, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? And then when two different people had actually suggested your course to me within a month or so of one another, one was including Steve Johnson and the other one was Alan Callahan from Indigo Essences. And I said, okay, they know what they're talking about, so I'm going with them. So that's when I contacted you and I said, I'm ready to make this commitment. So.
And we're very pleased you did, because that's when your own essences started to come through.
Yes, definitely.
And as always happens when we embrace our life's work, everything else gets lifted with it.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So what does your life and your business, now that you've got your essences out there in the world, look and feel like compared to what it was before?
There's such an expansion. I just feel really joyful inside that I'm doing this work, that I am given the opportunity to, to really be in alignment with who I really am. And the amount of change that I see happen within people using the essences is amazing. And I just really find that it's hard to put into words, but there is such a satisfaction that comes from being in the space that you know you have a deeper knowledge, of these things to help people.
Mhm.
So that really makes such a heartfelt difference to me. I really feel it in my heart.
Yeah. And it's one of the things that we do in the diploma, or if anybody takes essences over a long time in whatever circumstances, we start to understand from an experiential point of view. So from your, I don't know what it was, about 18 months of going through the diploma journey,
Yes.
what was embedded into your cellular, what woke up, or what was released that you're talking about? How did it make a difference?
I suppose I was able to expand into that space of feeling safe to move into who I am. I'd always done different things, but I was always kind of not putting myself out there to a certain degree. There were my close friends, people that I felt very safe with. They all knew what I did and how I worked in the world. But to me, it was like, okay, now I can feel safe to actually put this out to the wider world. Whereas before, I didn't feel as safe to do that, because I feel like the diploma gave me a foundation and a support system that I hadn't had to that degree before, because we were exploring so much within the diploma and using so many different essence ranges, which I'd never, I knew about Bach and I knew about Alaskan and I knew a few others, Fox Mountain, but some of the others that we were introduced to I hadn't ever heard of. And some of those essences really made a difference while I was on the diploma. Like, it really shifted my belief systems in some way about only using one essence range, or being stuck or rigid around certain parameters around it all. And that never did resonate with me, but there were other parts of things that you'd hear and you kind of go, oh, I don't feel safe enough to be this or do this, because I've heard, oh, you're not supposed to do things this way, or you're not supposed to, use different essence ranges together, or, just so many different things. And then you start second guessing yourself about whether what you've actually felt is right. So it gave me the foundation and the security to feel that part of me that knew all of that to begin with, it was safe for me to be and do that out in the world.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing to hear that. I mean, I obviously followed your journey very closely, but it's really nice to hear, because you had a lot of the pieces in place, but the thing that was stopping you was the feeling safe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And you found your own way of doing it, which is really, again, what the Nature Kingdom teaches, is like, we have our own way, and that's the right way to go.
Yes.
Our heart knows why. Yeah. So, and what do you love now about your life now, about being a practitioner, about being the hands and legs of your beautiful range? What do you love about it?
Oh gosh, I guess, at the foundation of it, it allows me to be who I am. It allows me to speak to the elemental kingdom, on a regular basis. Not that I wasn't doing that before, but now I feel like I can incorporate it into my life, into my healing work, which is what was missing for me.
Yeah.
So, because at my core, that's how I've always kind of wanted to express myself, was in tandem with the nature kingdom. So, you know, I suppose in my own way, it helps me to honor all the Native Americans who taught me everything they taught me as well, because, you know, I find that a lot of people don't express all of these things because of the fear around it. And so it's my way of honoring and expressing, you know, everything they taught me as well. So just, I feel really happy that I can help people in this way. It's at the, you know, at the level of that, it's just amazing when I see people being transformed, and maybe they don't see it straight away, but watching it happen is incredible.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful part. I think we learn so much from the people that we have the privilege of coming towards us. They reflect back to us what actually happens, that sometimes
Exactly.
inside we can't see it. Yeah, so beautiful, very, very beautiful. I feel there's so much has kind of settled and solidified for you of everything before. So may I ask you, before we finish, what was your favorite part of the diploma? I know that's a big question.
Yeah, it's a big question, but really, like, the favorite, you know, parts for me were working with the different essence ranges, you know, being able to experience those different ranges was really key for me. And then the attended weekends, where we had a chance to meet everybody in person and, you know, have that one-on-one time to deepen our understanding of the different things that we'd been learning. And then I suppose, you know, the support that was always there, you know, with the different participants and the graduates, you know, having all of that feedback was, for me, really important and really special.
Yeah, it is. It is very special. I remember that from my own journey. So thank you. So as we finish, for anybody listening or watching who maybe hasn't taken essences before, or who has but not really taken them on a deeper level, you know, in a longer term level, whether or not that they're interested in becoming a practitioner or not. If they are, that's fabulous, but let's just address the wider world here. What would be any words of wisdom that you have for them?
Oh gosh, I'd say, just if you're drawn to something, to really take notice of it, and especially if you're out in the nature kingdom, what trees are you drawn to? What flowers are you drawn to? Is there a certain animal you're drawn to? Any of the elementals, you know, the fire, the earth, the air, the water, any of those types of things. What is drawing you? And why do you feel that you're being drawn to that? And then work with some of the flowers or the trees or the elements that you're being drawn to, and work with the practitioner if you have to. Just do it. Like, really, just do it, because it's amazing. People that I've introduced flower essence to, they didn't really understand it to begin with, but they realize how gentle the energetics of it, or as opposed to some of the other things that might be a bit more energetically moves things very quickly. And not to say that sometimes that might happen, but really, like, it's such a gentle way of working with things.
And when we work in that gentle way, we move the foundations, don't we? So gentle ways, so it makes it very powerful at the same time.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, it's just do it. Just do it. Yeah, there's a lot of support out there now. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that story. I've heard it before, but it's just an absolute pleasure to hold the space for you to share it in this way. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing today. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.